Michael Spaney, thank you for joining us in Berlin. Can you tell us about the organization called Stop the Bomb? What is it?
The Stop the Bomb campaign is a non-governmental organization based in Europe. I'm here based in Berlin. I'm the spokesperson for Stop the Bomb Germany, but we have branches all over Europe, in the UK, in the Netherlands, in France, and also in Austria.
And I understand that earlier today there was a demonstration in Vienna involving a senior official of the Iranian regime. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, today there was a visit of the Iranian Foreign Minister, Mr. Salehi, in Vienna. He was visiting the UN and he was visiting the Foreign Minister of Austria, and they're trying to keep up a dialogue with Iran, which we think isn't productive, because we from Stop the Bomb think that the engagement with Iran has failed, and now stronger and tougher measures has to be taken.
How close do you think the Iranian regime is to getting the nuclear bomb?
Time is getting shorter and shorter, and we don't know exactly when the Iranians will have the bomb. For that reason, it's very important to keep up the pressure and to make more pressure and to stop dialoguing with Iran, but showing some teeth and really put up some crippling and biting sanctions.
Well, Michael, you and your team are based in Berlin. Can you tell us what is the current nature of relations between Germany and Iran, both politically in terms of sanctions and the bomb, and also economically, how important is that relationship to both sides?
Let me first start with the economic aspects. Germany is the most important and biggest Western exporter to Iran. They are exporting technology to Iran, high-tech, and the numbers are more or less 4 each year for the last years, which is 5.3 billion US dollars. And this hasn't sunk until last March. This was the first time that the sanctions began to work. And actually, there was a very, very short decline since March. But Germany politically has been the most reluctant country in Europe regarding to sanctions. When UN sanctions came up last year and the US followed and the EU followed, the German foreign minister, Mr. Westerwelle, in the end of the negotiations with the EU, he tried to avoid sanctions in the Iranian energy sector, which would have made the whole thing worthless. But gladly, the other EU member states managed to overcome the German reluctance, and finally last year also tough EU sanctions were made. We would have wished more, but the result was quite okay, but there could have been done very much more. Let me say that Germany is having a great gap between the words and the deeds. Mrs. Merkel has always told that Iran shouldn't get a nuclear bomb, but if you see the facts on the ground, if you see the economic figures, these speak a totally different language. And the German export to Iran are a great leverage which should be used, and which hasn't been used hard enough yet. There is still a lot of machinery being exported to Iran. And let me quote the German-Iranian Chamber of Commerce, who said that 2/3 of Iranian industry is dependent on German technology. So this is leverage. And if we stop exporting machinery to Iran, this would be a great leverage to further weaken the Iranian regime.
Now, Germany is a coalition system of government. Is the left, do you have the left or right parties or centrists? Is there any real political difference in how to approach Iran based on politics, or is this all a matter of business and exports?
There is a German left being very skeptical about sanctions against Iran. Also, the Green Party doesn't want to really make hard sanctions. The CDU, the Conservative Party in government with the head of Mrs. Merkel, is, as I explained to you, has been very reluctant, but is slowly coming to this resolution that sanctions are needed, and I hope they would come to the conclusion that more sanctions are needed. There is a big economy lobby in Germany lobbying for the Iran business of the German industry, and the other party in the German coalition, that of the foreign minister, Mr. Westerwelle, the Liberal Party, FDP, has been more reluctant, let's say, put it like this, than Mrs. Merkel on the issue. They are dependent on the small and medium-sized businesses, which have a great lobby in Germany, lobbying for that Iran business.
One last question. There are many governments in the Middle East, including the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Saudi Arabia especially, in addition to Israel, who are very, very, very concerned lest Iran get the bomb. How is this issue viewed by Germans? Is this seen as a Jewish issue? Is it seen as a global issue, or just something they want to go away?
Well, let me first tell you the standpoint of Stop the Bomb. We think that the Iranian threat isn't only a danger for Israel or the region. It's a global threat. Because there will be a nuclear arms race in the Middle East, which is endangering the region and which is endangering the NPT, the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. And this is kind of the basis of peace in our times. And if Iran gets the bomb, this will be in danger. In Germany, this message hasn't been heard that often. German politicians have been very reluctant, as I said, and the Stop the Bomb campaign is explaining again and again to German politicians and decision makers to put more pressure on Iran. And if we see the Arab rebellions taking place since the beginning of this year, Stop the Bomb is saying there will be no democratic development if the Iranian regime is still in power. Iran is endangering all the democratic movements in the region because it has its fingerprint everywhere. They're not only exporting terror to Hezbollah, they are, with the help of Hezbollah and Iranian Revolutionary Guards, putting down and cracking down on the Syrian democratic movement. They are sending money to Islamist movement in Egypt and the whole of North Africa. They're also involved in drug trafficking with Afghanistan. In Iraq, there's been a massive rise in dead American soldiers in the last month, and most of it is related to Shiite groups, terrorist groups financed by Iran.
Well, Michael Spaney, we're very grateful that Stop the Bomb exists, and we're grateful you're there in Berlin. And we urge people who want updates to go to your website at stopthebomb.net, and we will be talking to you and hopefully working with you in the future as you are in the vanguard of one of the most important global issues and human rights issues of the day. Thank you from Berlin.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Cooper.
Bye-bye.
Bye.